libraries and everything. So what I was planning to do was a single build that you could make either as a ride or a port stand, if you know what I mean.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, the on-screen display flickers, and the audio doesn't work for reasons yet to be determined.
I'm having all sorts of similar issues.
Yes.
Good morning, Mike. Afternoon, Mike. Who else we got?
Hello there. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Great. Well, the thing was that seeing as you invited me, here I am.
Yeah, exactly. Have you got any things to discuss about what you've seen this morning?
No, I'm trying to absorb the information. Some of it's going over my head, I have to say, but my interest really are the port stand, and I saw Tim there in the ride. I've got a ride behind me. It's not connected up with a port stand 3 to my right. How easy is it to convert from 3 to 4? I do have a Pi 4 here.
If so, your port stand currently, what screen has it got on it? On the 7-inch?
Yeah, 7-inch.
So you just need to change the Raspberry Pi for a 3 to 4, clearly, and change the SD card.
Oh, okay. That's simple enough. I thought it was simple, yeah.
Some of the GPIO connections, not many have changed, some are no longer used. But you need to have a little audit of the GPIO connections. But essentially,
I've got an idea about that.
Essentially, you just change the Raspberry Pi and the SD card.
Great, thanks very much. So,
yeah. Right. Hi, Justin.
Hi there. I'm back again.
I can't believe Linux crashed on you.
Oh no, it's just a solid light, and it sits there for days, that machine. You know?
The live demo detector worked again.
Yes. Still, it boots quickly. That's one thing about Linux.
Yes.
I've got everything here. The presentation was on a Mac, and the Zoom's on a Windows machine, and the browsing and everything else machine I did the presentation was on the Linux machine. So there's 3 machines to go wrong potentially. But you can always rely on the ATEM though.
Yeah. Did you read my ATEM repair article?
Yes, I did. That was quite interesting. It kind of worried me at the same time.
I think the lesson is keep them cool.
Yes, yeah. Those shelves, there's lots of air blowing through that. I mean, I haven't got the fan switched on now because there's no RF, but you probably noticed that all the sensitive stuff's at the bottom and all the hot stuff's at the top. Yeah. For that reason. But that's quite a job. I do actually know a guy who's very good with these sort of surface mount things, and he changed the eMMC chip in my car when it packed up. So he runs an MOT garage, but he used to do surface mount, so he's got all the kit. So,
right, yeah.
But the clever thing there was, pulling the on the car. There are 2 petitions which contain the certificates for the VPN, the Tesla VPN, and it's extracting that important information. So you lose those, you're done for. Tesla won't give you another one.
So, right.
So that's the clever bit.
A message from Mike. You can probably drop the QO100 for the next half hour. I think it's probably more appropriate not to have this on QO100, but it's a really good feed for this morning. Thank you.
Yeah. Brilliant. I was looking at Gareth's camera and I was thinking to myself, oh, he's got a low emission tube.
Yeah, it's just I'm not sure what's up with that camera, Gareth.
No, I've tried resetting it and looking at the settings in OBS, which I'm sure it was fine on Thursday night. Otherwise, people have said, "What on earth's happened to you?"
No, it was fine on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see anything that's wrong. I don't think Windows has done an update since then, but it's horrible, isn't it? It's like it's Channel 5 in the early days picture quality.
Yes, with the ghost in the South London ghost.
Yeah, I haven't got a ghost. It's just the pixelation and limited color palette, like 256 colors or less than that, even 32 colors.
No, it's
whatever.
a low emission tube on your camera.
I've got the Razer software that comes with the camera, and just run an update on that, and the camera seems to be fine. It's like I've got no idea. HDR.
I mean, I'm using
What's that
here
short for? I'm just reading what Mike's posted on the post.
high dynamic range.
All right.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I haven't set it. It must have set itself. So if
Yeah,
I find
that will affect it. Yeah, that will mess it up.
if I move that up there, and then find the camera software, unless it's doable in what's it called? Razer, isn't it? Razer. There we go. Open.
We'll let you play with that then, Gareth.
Yeah.
Hello, Benno. Welcome to the chat. Silent, Benno. No audio, Benno. Oh, he's gone. I scared him.
Cameras I use in here are generally the Sony AS30s, which are obsolete now, but I've got a couple of, they're like action cams, but I have got a really nice Vlogger camera, which I also use, but I haven't set up today. I just left these ones here in the shack. And,
must admit, I'm on the old C920.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're nice. Really well. I've got a pair of those too. Yeah.
Works now, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. We haven't seen you for a while. You've been out and about for the summer, haven't you?
Yeah, but working on different projects. Working on Whisper.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's not real DADV.
No.
But loved your presentation.
Half of my projects aren't DATV either. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're not talking about those projects as well.
I wonder how long it would take to get a 5-minute program over Whisper with high quality, high definition TV. What's the data rate?
I have no clue.
Is it seconds per bit or something?
Yes.
But Justin, I need to come into contact with you. You know, I use 3 rides for our local repeater. So I love the logbook idea there.
Oh, yeah, I can help you with that. My email's on QRZ.
Yeah,
so,
but first I need to talk to Tim about this ride project, because I use Node-RED, and I want to make messages between ride and Node-RED. And I know it's matter of the right message and the right coding. But first of all, I need to talk to Tim about that. But I'm trying to reach him for at least half a year now.
Yeah. Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't use our bit of code to send a Node-RED. It's just that the endpoint you're changing, that's all. The endpoint I showed was the one for the logbook format, which is a standard format for all these logbook systems for QRZ. I use QRZ really because I had it. So it's but logbook of the world, it could go to that as well. But I thought I'd do that via QRZ. So just send to QRZ and let QRZ do the logbook of the world update. I just haven't had time to actually sit down and think that one through. But it's not very difficult.
Benno, Tim looked puzzled when you said you hadn't been able to get in touch with him.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen any emails from you, so I wonder if they get lost in the void.
Probably not the right address, Tim. But we need to talk when you have some time about this idea I have.
Yeah, it should be fairly easy to kind of, as Justin has done, you can hack things into it in various obvious places. I've got a few too many other things that need to go into Ride first before I can add it as add new things as official features, because I've got the Pi 5 and the HAMTV to go in first.
Well, I think you don't need to modify anything to the Ride, as it has the feature already for controlling via the network, as Tom does with his remote control. I mean, all the commands working basically. So now I need to let my Node-RED instance talk the same commands to your Ride instance. So in fact, all the hardware is there. It's just I need to know the exact command, as Tom has probably backtracked.
So you're going to emulate Tom's software effectively.
Yeah, basically on, but then from the Node-RED instance. I mean, Node-RED is controlling my complete repeater, but I use all the hardware commands, all the hard lines to control the Ride, which is basically ridiculous. And you can do that much better with network control, I believe.
Yeah, you can. There is some documentation that tells you what all the commands are, and you can do button pushing, but you can do a few other things other than just button pushing as well. You can send it direct, like tune to this settings,
yeah,
and controls like that as well, rather than just button pushing.
That's also something I need for the near future, because I want to experiment something on 6 meters with inputs on our local repeater on a 6 meter channel. So therefore, we are using the one Ride for multiple bands, and this is more or less button pushing for preset selection. But the better doing that via tuning on a network command.
Let
me go into that now, because that's probably way out of the league where we are talking about during this lunch. I need to
just
talk
to say
to
that on the GitHub there was some documentation and at least one example Python script of that should have everything you need.
Good. Has anybody else got any questions, perhaps for Charles, from Donald, Don, or Keith, or anybody?
Charles, I thought your presentation was absolutely fantastic, by the way. It was a real... I'm quite interested in AI myself, and I really did think it was fantastic. And the ability also potentially to improve the... susceptibility to signal loss, perhaps pull out weaker signals still using some of these techniques. It would be interesting as well.
Yeah, and there's quite a few people actually playing about with this stuff. There was some guy in Switzerland that was using it for propagation. I get all this stuff on my Twitter feed, or X. So it's but it's difficult to keep up with it. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot with the personal assistants on Grok, and I've got this sort of idea in the back of my head to introduce one on the repeater. So there's no one on, you'll have Annie to talk to.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I've got my own personal assistant that's based on an open source model, but I've been augmenting it with things like, as I said in the talk, it can ask my solar system what's going on and stuff like that. Like for the other day, I said, "Is it dark outside?" And it said, "Yes, it's dark outside." I said, "How do you know it's dark outside?" "Well, I've looked at the power coming from your solar panels." And I've also got some cameras hooked up to it, because although I'm using a text model, using the MCP tool, I can call a vision model so that I can pass pictures to it, and then it brings back text, which the GPT ISS, and I said, oh, you know, is it using your cameras? Is it dark outside? And he said, yes, it is dark outside. Your camera is operating in infrared mode.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, it's
which, I mean, it's unexpected, because I think it, you know, you look at the picture and say, oh, there's, you know, it's low light levels, but
well, the clever. I mean, if you look at some of the videos on Tesla's full self-driving in the States, there's a great one this morning on Stephen Mark Ryan, that actually shows the car making a left turn, and there's some geese in the road. Actually, it's a road. It's like in a car park. There's some geese. And after a while, it realises they're not moving; they're just sitting there, and decides to turn around and go around them. You know, and that is all basically AI. You know, the neural network doing that, and actually thinking, what should I do in this situation? You know, rather than just sitting there, it actually went around them. And,
yeah, but they've rewritten that code about 3 times so far. Every time a new technology comes along, they rewrite all their code. So
it's incredible where it is now on the 14.1.3. Absolutely incredible.
Well, I don't have a Tesla, and I must have missed. I had the opportunity to use a Waymo when I was in Santa Monica, but I chickened out.
No, I mean, my wife's Model 3, I've got a Model S, it's too old for this tech, but my wife's Model 3's got the FSD package. It's just we haven't got it in this country yet, which is really annoying because they got it in Australia.
Yeah, I noticed that Waymo are starting operations in London next year. That'll be amusing to watch.
I don't think it's scalable, because you've got the trainer thing and update HD maps and things. You know, it's just not scalable, and the cost of those cars. How are they going to make a profit?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that in Santa Monica, the Waymos will not go to the airport. They won't go to LAX. They stop short of LAX. I guess.
Yeah, that's changed. You know, that LAX have actually put a whole bay for self-driving autonomous taxis now. Only recently, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, is that near where the pickup is for Ubers and things like that?
I think it probably is. It's a while since I've been to LAX, but as you know, you have to pick the right area for the flight that's arriving, don't you? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That place. I remember picking my daughter and wife up there quite a few years ago when I was working out there. I really do think Tesla's model is the one that's going to win through on cost alone. The fact that it self-learns, you don't have to train everything and keep retraining, and road layouts change, you've got to back retrain it. You don't have to do that with this. It's intelligent. And,
Can I drag the conversation back to ATV? Has anybody got ATV questions?
AI touches many areas, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got lots of people without cameras on. I wonder if any of them have questions.
Maybe they've got cameras like Gareth.
Maybe they have. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back in the right colour now.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Oh yeah, what have you done, Gareth? That looks a lot better.
A full reset and wade through the menus that I don't understand, but it is at least human again.
Yeah, almost a bit saturating on.
Yeah, I've found that menu. I'll have a play with it, but at least it's working.
A lot better, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for tying things up this afternoon. I'll have to go once this chat's over, but I'm looking forward to catching up with that talk.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to head off soon. I'm up the road to the church hall to do the repair cafe, which I do once a month or so. So we probably broken vacuum cleaners and the like. It's fun.
Terrible the amount of stuff that gets chucked away simply because it's blocked or they haven't cleaned the filter or whatever.
Yeah.
Amazing. The lack of common sense is worrying. I don't think AI will help it either, because if AI asks people how to fix their vacuum and they don't know, it's not going to come up, is it? Work that one out.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got an air purifier that needs fixing, but I haven't been able to take it to pieces.
Yes, that's the other trauma. Yeah, the anti-tamper fittings, which need workarounds or a full tool set, or just not designed to be taken apart. I had a Miele the other day, vacuum, and that came apart like it was planned. So it's a proper good vacuum, I have to say, well worth fixing.
German engineering.
Yeah,
I've got a Miele, fantastic machines. It's I can show it on ATV if we bring it back on something. But no, I like the Miele.
Yes, Mike, your microphone does work.
I wasn't sure because it's not lighting me up.
No, I'm not sure you're talking loud enough.
I'm talking very loud, same as always. I think it's got the wrong gain setting.
It's just done it. Yeah.
right.
Thank you very much for the contact on QO100. That's going well. You can always tell how well it's going by how quiet the rest of the transponder goes.
Yes. I take that as a positive for the Thursday net.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm going to sign off simply because I've got to get ready to go up to the repair cafe and do my bits.
Okay, Justin, thanks very much for your lecture. That's good.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I'll say goodbye anyway. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Yes, I'm rapidly moving towards being able to get on the Thursday net. I've got my new camera system that I think is doing a reasonable job. First real test of it, and I got to finish sorting out the dish, and I got an amplifier on the way from Poland. So hopefully it won't be too much longer, and I'll have
brilliant
on the net.
Yeah, that's good. I hope the dish does good service.
Yes, I'm just kind of trying to touch up all the very slightly rusty bits around the edge, because if I put it outside in Wales, it's just going to turn into a big pile of rust if I don't make it completely sealed up before it goes outside.
Yes. Yeah, it turns out paints are, I mean, in the old days, it just stick some hammerite on it, but hammerite stopped being good many years ago, apparently. Still, rightio, I'll have to go soon as well. So I'll sign out and have a play with the camera when Zoom's not using it and get it back on track. Thanks for the pointers.
Cheers, Gareth.
Bye, Gareth.
Cheerio.
Right, the headset might work.
It does.
Apparently, though, according to you, Dave.
Yes, Mike. Sorry, Tim.
We're starting again at 1 o'clock. Is that right?
Well, they're going to run the ISS video around 1ish. Once David and Tammy start running that, I think it'll be appropriate to put the QO100 back on.
Okay. I'm not sure I can do that in Zoom at the same time. I might be able to.
No, the Zoom will finish then.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So basically, when the Zoom finishes.
Well, I've done a new 3D case for the Pi 5.
So which way up is your screen?
The correct way up. So you set it the wrong way up in your script. I have to reset it back.
Right. So I will shortly change my screen around and then I'll sort the script out.
Yeah, VLC is the right way up on this one. Good. I can show you if you like. But
VLC fooled me the other day. I went to the beacon and it was the right way up. And then I went to somebody who was running H.265 and it was the wrong way up. Yeah. Oh, it's got 25 way on it as well. That's good.
Yeah, it's got the old. I think you said I can power it from the standard little power supply, little switch mode power supply, the Pi 5. I was worried about the current it takes.
No, it itself doesn't take much. It's just provision of current for the peripherals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can put those components in which case it's exactly the same board, so no change.
Yeah.
The only thing is, because there's no audio, there's no audio, so I need to find a solution to that.
Well, one of these.
One of those, yeah, but then that sticks out of the USB socket and it looks untidy.
It does. You're right. Yeah.
Is there are there buses on the? I think there's a some kind of serial bus on the DSI CSI ports that might be able to be abused to attach a sound chip to.
Really?
Oh, there are, yes. That's how the hi-fi berry works, I think.
Yeah, there's some kind of serial connector in there because that's how they do things like control. It's the back channel control for the and I think that's how the touch
The
screen
touch. Yeah.
hits. Yeah. And the cat like things like the focus on the autofocus camera and things like that. So I think there must be an I2C or something bus in the connectors.
So we'd be looking for an audio driver that presents that and some. Yeah.
It's that, or you got to put it on the GPIO.
Oh, I could plug in my headset.
What, a USB headset? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can't you use Bluetooth?
You've been reading the chat, haven't you?
No.
You can, yeah, of course you can use Bluetooth. It's just another variable, and the thing about Portstone is trying to keep it simple.
But now it's all modular and well written. Shouldn't be so hard.
If somebody was exceedingly keen, you've obviously got the PCI Express connector on the Pi 5, so you could wire a PCI Express sound card into that with a pile of adapters.
That is overkill by any. Yeah.
Or you could just monitor with HDMI instead of DSI, I guess.
So have you been watching, was it Jeff Geerling and him sticking video cards into Pis?
That's one way to solve the encoding problem.
Yes.
What about using a camera that does it for you? Is that possible, Dave?
Well, I mean, something like the C920 that I'm using.
Yeah.
But of course, the lowest bit rate, it'll do about 2 megasymbols.
Yeah.
Any lower than that, it doesn't. But yeah, yes, that's a cheating way. But of course, everybody wants QO100. So
yes, but no.
Yes, but no, but yeah.
Yeah, because even the really cheap NVIDIA cards have cheap NVIDIA cards have encode on it. So my very old GT720's got H.264 encoding on it.
I thought it actually didn't have the hardware in the Pi 5.
No, it's still there. It's just the interface is a 32-bit interface. And because they're trying to push everybody to 64-bit, they decided, oh, everybody can encode in software now, which is fine if you're encoding at 4 megabits a second, but not at 333.
Yeah.
Or lower. I mean, you know, off-board encoding is what I use on QO100 for the using a Jetson, a very old Jetson now. But is there anything cheaper available in the Jetson range, the new Jetson range? Charles, do you know? Or is it all expensive? You've just muted yourself to unmute.
They've become very expensive.
Why don't we design a hat with an encoder on it?
You've got to find the encoder.
That'd be the solution, wouldn't it?
Yeah, H.265 encoder.
It shouldn't be too like particularly because you can put it on the you can put it on the PCI Express bus on the 5. But you've got to find the chip, whatever your encoder chip is, and find a source of them,
Absolutely.
or an FPGA and a license.
Yeah, I see David's put up a note saying informal lunch session will end at 13:05, so we've got a couple of minutes more.
Yeah, well, apart from the image, I can keep going.
I'm trying to burn electricity at the moment.
Have you got storage there, Charles?
Yeah, that's the problem. At the moment, till 3 o'clock, Octopus are giving away free electricity. You can have as much as you like.
Yeah,
I've got everything turned on in the house.
I'm exporting 3.3 kilowatts because I'm not using it. Incidentally, this entire thing has been solar powered.
Oh, that's good.
From my
credentials.
From my uplink to the transponder.
That's good. Right, I'm going to shoot off and get some lunch. I'll be back at 1:30, but I shall watch on my iPhone the ISS thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm off for a cup of coffee, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put the transmitter back on.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks for that. And it's a good point to let you know, it's David here, that our ATV packed lunch, we're closing our open interactive Zoom session any moment now. Thanks to everyone who participated, and please now go back to BATC Streamer or YouTube to watch the rest of CAT25.
Thanks, David.
Right.
Cheerio, guys.
Bye.
Cheerio.
There we are. Hope you've enjoyed that interactive packed lunch session. If you did, then please do let us know. We will do it again in a future event. The last Saturday, 3 scout groups based in Royal Leamington Spa in Warwickshire made an ISS contact thanks to the work of ARIS UK. The groups were 1st Radford Simele, 1st Sydenham and 1st 6th Leamington, plus the Explorer unit, which is called Trident. Participants ranged in ages from 6 to 18, and their usual scouting events included camping, hiking, kayaking, climbing and working on community projects. But over the last 10 months, their activities have focused on space and the ISS. They've also been building printed circuit board projects and using stars or the sun to navigate and gauge direction. This was a direct contact via amateur radio, allowing students to ask their questions of astronaut Johnny K.J5HKP. The amateur radio ground station for this contact was south of the town of Royal Leamington Spa in the UK, and amateurs used call sign GB4 RSS from the ground station to establish and maintain the ISS connection. The space and ground teams also attempted to use the recently installed HAMTV device, which would be another step in recommissioning the HAMTV system that was returned to Earth and repaired after a failure in orbit in 2018. Let's have a look.
So I'm going to bring you now to another person. This person is known as Robert. This person I know is a bee leader, as many people are, but they are superhumans who do more than one thing, which is amazing given the time they spend on bee leading and actually having time to do anything else. Robert, if you read his profile, is actually another professor of space physics, which he does bring with enthusiasm to his work in 1st 6 Leamington. He has a variety of things on his website, what he does, but he particularly, I guess, is looking at a number of areas in space, again, quite related to space weather, but he works with the University of Southampton. He works on things like magnetic reconnection, solar winds, and global magnetosphere dynamics. So we're hopefully going to try and bring that into something that I can understand, if nobody else can understand, but it's some really good stuff. I think the key thing here is, yet again, like Susie, another volunteer, gives time to others, helps other people learn and grow and develop in the world, but also is a brilliant person who can tell us lots of stuff about what they do in life. So I'm going to hand over to Robert and become his assistant at some point and see where it takes us to. Robert, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. When I wrote those words, I had no idea they'd be read out to a bunch of scouts. But it's been great to hear all the stuff that you guys have been doing as well about different things to do with space. So yeah, as Mark says, I do a very similar job to Susie. I don't climb as many uncharted mountains, and I've never trained to be an astronaut. But I have a slightly different favourite planet, because my favourite planet is actually Earth. And what I'm going to show you here is something that, although I'm not going to talk about the space station, this is something you can see from the space station. On the screens, you can see a picture that's been taken by a European astronaut called Samantha Cristoforetti. And when she went to the space station, she took this picture from a window at the bottom of it. So you can see at the top, the white thing there is the underside of the space station. The right-hand side, you've got a bit of a solar panel. And the long thing that bends here is a robotic arm. And the curved bit you see underneath is the top of the Earth's atmosphere. So you can see the Earth is indeed round. And there's a kind of a green glow there. Does anyone know what that is at all? Yeah. The Northern Lights, yes, also called the Aurora as well. Has anyone seen the Northern Lights before? Where did you see them? Shout out some places you saw them.
From my window.
From Lapland, yeah, hearing some places north, and I'm also hearing Warwick and other places. So we'll talk. It is really unusual to see the Northern Lights around here, but it does happen, and it happened last May. This is actually a movie that I'll play, and as you see, the International Space Station is orbiting around the Earth, and it happens now to be going near the pole, the North Pole, so near the top of the planet. And that's why we see, it's close enough to see the Northern Lights. That happens near the North Pole. You can see it's very changeable. There's lots of ripples and changes in brightness. It's kind of green low down, but it's actually a bit red higher up. Very bright bits there as well. Can you see bits flashing on and off here? The bright thing there is just the moon coming into view and up and above, and lots of flickering and all sorts. So the Northern Lights, you might see with your eyes. You probably, if you've seen it, it might have been quite changeable. It might have been quite static. But indeed, it's really, really very changeable, and you can see it on a really large scale as well. So that's what it looked like from the space station. This is what it looks like from the ground, for anyone who hasn't seen it. I took this picture. I was in Iceland and lucky enough to be at the right time to see the Northern Lights. And this is from the bay in Iceland, in Reykjavik. And that's what it looks like from a camera, taking a picture that lasts a few seconds. So what you see in that time is a build-up of all of that. You don't see that all at once. And then the next picture is literally a few seconds later and a few seconds after that. So you can see it really changing quite a lot. But those greens are kind of what I saw at that time. Okay, so some people mentioned they'd seen it from their window here and from Warwick and so on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is. Does anyone know why we get the Northern Lights at all? Yeah? Nearly. It's not because of the sun's light, but it is because of the sun. So I'm going to show you now again, it'll be a movie of the sun. And I've got to emphasize, you should never, ever look directly at the sun. You will damage your eyes very badly. But we have very special cameras, sometimes on satellites, sometimes on the ground, that will take pictures of the sun. And by taking it in a very, very specific color here, we've been able to take a picture. This is actually from a satellite, a NASA satellite called Solar Dynamics Observatory. Take a picture of the sun and all of its structure. So you see it's actually, for a start, a lot more interesting than you think of when you just draw a yellow circle. To give you a bit of scale, this little dot in the top that you might be able to see here is the size that the Earth would be if it's there. So would anyone like to guess how many planet Earths you could fit inside the sun? Yeah. Bigger than 250, yeah. 3,000? Bigger than 3,000, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll cut to the chase. It's over 1 million, okay? So the sun is absolutely huge. But look at the size of the Earth compared with all of this stuff here. And that interesting stuff on the front there is why we got the Northern Lights down here in Warwick and Leamington, and indeed further south. I work in Southampton, it was seen down there, and other places. So as I play this is again a bit sped up, but you can see, for a start on the side, all those wispy bits, that is the start of what's called the solar wind. The sun's a very hot ball of gas, so hot it becomes what's called a plasma. That flows through the solar system, it's called the solar wind. And you see really flashy bits. The flashes are flares from the sun that gives off a lot of light in these flashes, and linked with that as well, again, there's a lot of this very hot gas being given off. Okay, and so that particular set of that movie was from May last year, and a short while later, we saw the Northern Lights down here, and the reason is because Here's another little sketch to show how the sun links to the Earth. This isn't to scale. If the sun was really that size, the Earth would be way off to the side. But the sun is always giving off all of this very hot gas, and then that hits the region of space around the Earth. And does anyone know what do you think the blue thing looks like? Yeah? It is indeed. I'm very impressed. It is the magnetic field of the Earth. And that kind of protects us a bit from the solar wind, but it also means that it kind of funnels these particles to the regions around the pole, the stuff to do with the solar wind. And that's why we see the Northern Lights. These are pictures not from Lapland and so on, from down the road somewhere here in Warwickshire. And then on the bottom left, that's from Norfolk, so kind of same latitude as us, just a bit further east. And the ones on the right are from down the south coast of England. And so that's the aurora that we saw, the Northern Lights, also called the aurora, that we saw last year. And so to understand the reason why we could see it here, we need to think about what it looks like from when really high up. So you've seen what it looks like from the ground. You've seen what it looks like from the space station that is literally just above it. If you have a satellite that's a very, very long way above, you can get pictures like the one on the left. That's real movie from a satellite called Image. It was a NASA satellite a few years ago. On the right, it's a simulation. It shows you get the northern lights, but also lights around the South Pole, the southern lights. In fact, these are the southern lights here. The white mass you might see in the middle is Antarctica. And what shape does the aurora, the southern lights, look like to you? Yep. It is a circle. So that's why, so for a start, if you want to see the northern lights, you don't want to go to the North Pole itself because you'd be too far north. So it forms a ring, and it helps us understand why we get the northern lights here. Because someone has mentioned the magnets, magnetic field. You might have played with a magnet at school. You might know they line up north to south and they attract to the others. And you might have done this thing on the right where you sprinkle iron filings, little bits of metal around it. And so the metal then lines up and it traces out what's called this magnetic field line. And that field is why your compass, when you're navigating, points north, because the Earth itself is a big magnet. So your compass will point north. We just have to flip things upside down to get it kind of just right. But your compass points to the North Pole. Also then, the solar wind kind of gets funneled down and it forms these northern lights and southern lights near the pole. To understand why, so normally that's kind of going through countries like Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and so on. But to understand why it comes down this far south, I'm going to do a little demonstration, and I'm going to need a bit of help. Can I have maybe a beaver and a cub who knows some countries and is able to recognise some countries from the world? So, okay, do you want to come up? And we have a cub who, do you want to come up? About recognising countries. We'll have a bit of help with Mark as well. So, can I ask you please to come around? Sorry, what's your name? Lily, if you stand just in front of me here, and can you hold the globe? If you stand side on, actually you're going to need to come closer. How about if you stand in front of this camera here? Can you just come around here? Can you come around here and hold this? And your job, sorry, what's your name? Cedric. You've got a special job. You've got a hairband here, a scrunchie, that I'd like you to put on top, and that's going to represent the Northern Lights. And if I move on the slide, we can hopefully see, here we go, courtesy of Mark's cameraman duties. Can you point out, one of you, if I hold this, or if Lily can hold that, Cedric, can you point to the North Pole? Can you see where the North Pole is? It's there, yeah. And if we look around, can you see the kind of countries that underneath this scrunchie? Can you name, where's this, do you think? Do you know these?
South Pole.
The South Pole's down at the bottom. Do you know what country's up here?
America.
Yeah, that's Canada, and we've got, do you know that one? Iceland. And around here we've got other countries where you might see the Northern Lights. So now, if Lily can hold that, and Cedric, can you stretch the scrunchie? And if Mark catches this on camera, if we stretch it, what happens to it? What are the countries? Where are the countries it's now on top of?
Canada.
Say again, sorry?
Canada.
Canada, it's gone a bit further down. What about over here? Or Lily, do you know where that is?
Europe.
Europe, and down to the UK as well. So if we maybe bring this a bit along there, you can hopefully see as that scrunchie gets bigger, it comes down to countries a bit further down. And that's what happened. Thank you very much. If I take that back, thank you both. If you want to head back, and thanks, Mark. Round of applause for our volunteers there. That's why That's why we get the northern lights further down, is because the northern lights acts like that scrunchy. Sometimes the ring gets bigger, and when it gets bigger, it comes down to us, and that's why some of you were able to see the northern lights here last year. Okay, so the final thing I just want to say is that part of the reason we study this, people like Susie and I study this, is to understand how that all works. But part of the reason that Susie also mentioned is that the same things that are causing the northern lights also have effects on technology, both up in space, like satellites, and also down on the ground, like power grids or communications and things like that. And as we have more and more technology nowadays, it's becoming more and more important to understand and predict what's going to happen. You might have heard of companies and organisations like the Met Office, who do our weather forecasts. For the last few years as well, the Met Office has started doing space weather forecasts to help companies that operate aircraft, satellites, power grids, understand what's going to happen and know what steps to take to look after their equipment. Okay, so it might well be in years to come. We have students going off to go and do space weather forecasting at the Met Office and the like. It might well be in the years to come. We'll be tuning some of you guys giving those kind of forecasts. Okay, so with that, I'll return to the picture, and thank you very much.
November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is Golf Bravo 4 Romeo Sierra Sierra, standing by for a scheduled contact with the International Space Station. Over. NA1SS, NA1SS. Over. NA1SS, NA1SS, this is GB4 Romeo Sierra Sierra, standing by for a scheduled contact with the International Space Station. Over. NA1SS, NA1SS, this is GB4 RSS. We have you in the noise, Johnny, so hopefully you will... Over.
Yes, sir, over.
Go.
Hi, I'm Leo. Is being on the ISS like living on Mars? Over.
You know, I don't quite know for sure, but I suspect it is. Living on the space station is like having a really long camping trip. We are in an oxygen condition just like camping would be, and I think being on Mars would be just like having an expedition.
This is Robin. Can you see the Milky Way from there? Over.
Yes, we can see the Milky Way from here. It's so beautiful. Everything that you can see on Earth, we can see from the International Space Station, but a lot more clear because we have a lot less pollution and atmosphere noise. Over.
Hi, this is Oscar. Do plants still grow towards the sun on the ISS? Over.
Hi, Oscar. Plants grow towards their nearest light source, and so that's not always towards the sun. In the International Space Station, it might be the nearest light bulb. Over.
Hi, I am Alice. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you in space? Over.
Oh my gosh, there are so many funny things that have happened to me. I think most of it has been funny pranks that my friends, my crewmates have done for me, like sneaking up behind me. Over.
This is Ruben. What happens if you drop something in space? Does it just float forever? Over.
Right now I've got some nuggies for my kids, and I'm dropping them in space, and they will keep floating forever. Over.
This is Eric. Have you ever seen a spaceman or shooting stuff from the ISS? Over.
Eric, I've seen a lot of storms and shooting stars. Sometimes they happen so quickly that I don't even notice it unless I'm actually taking pictures, and then I review the pictures later. Over.
Hello, this is Eddie. Have you ever had to fix something important in space, and what happened? Over.
On the International Space Station as astronauts, not only do we perform science experiments, but we are also constantly fixing things. I'd say one of the most important things I've had to fix was the toilet, because that is very, very important. Over.
Hello, this is Felix. Do you ever play tricks or jokes on each other in space? Over.
Oh yes, we play lots of jokes at each other. One time, I had my friends were hiding inside a big box, and I didn't know it until I went near it, and they popped out and surprised me. Over.
NA1SS, Johnny, we have you on HAMTV. Thank you very much for activating it, and I'd like to dedicate it to our colleague Gaston Bertels, who worked so hard to get it in space. So give us a wave, please.
What do you eat for breakfast in space? Cereal would float away.
Over.
Over.
Okay, I think the last question was, do I ever play tricks and jokes with each other? We do all the time, and because Halloween's coming up, I'm really looking forward to that. Over.
What do you eat for breakfast in space? Cereal would float away. Over.
I had breakfast. I had a tortilla and some breakfast sausages, and yes, cereal would float away if we let it. Over.
This is Sasha. How does a spacewalk feel? Over.
Hi, Sasha. I have not performed a spacewalk myself, but I have supported one, and talking to my friends who have done one, they're really hard, but we've trained a lot on the ground at NASA so that we're well prepared. Over.
Hi, this is Millie. Does food taste different in space? Better or worse? Over.
Hi, Lily. Food tastes different. It's just not as strong, which is why I use a lot more hot sauce and salt than I normally would on Earth. Over.
Hi, I'm Cohen. What is the coolest experiment you have done in space? Over.
The coolest experiment I've done in space is an experiment where we tried to see if we can grow more perfect crystals in microgravity. And the reason we're trying to do that is because it might make medicine stronger. And if we can do that, it'll help a lot of people on Earth. Over.
Hi, this is Alyssa. Do you feel dizzy when you get back to Earth? Over.
Yes, we feel very dizzy, and that's because our bodies get used to having no gravity. But when we return, all of those senses come back, and our brain gets very confused. Over.
Hello, this is Lily. With Halloween coming up, do you hear creepy sounds on the ISS? Over.
The space station can be quite creepy. Space is very quiet, so it's easy to sneak up on each other. So I suspect a lot of creepy sounds will be coming near Halloween. Over.
Hello, this is Freddie. Do you play board games on the ISS? Which ones? Over.
Yes, we play board games. Actually, we played one last weekend, and we were playing Codenames, which is a fun, team-based game on trying to think of the other person's word. Over.
Hello, this is Lucas. What's the most difficult challenge you've faced while living on the space station? Over.
The greatest challenge I've had is missing my family. I have two little stuffed animals here, and they belong to my two youngest kids, and I miss them very much. Over.
Hello, this is Dylan. Do you have bedtime stories or teddy bears in space? Over.
Hello. Yes, we do have teddy bears in space. I've got my daughter's little dolphin here and my son's little lion right here in space. Hopefully you can see it. Over.
This is Cynthia. How many months can you stay in space for? Over.
Well, you can stay in space for as long as you wanted to. My mission is 8 months, and I've been up here for a little over 6 months. Over.
Hello, this is Mahika. How do you prepare your body and mind to live in space for so long? Over.
You know, just like with a lot of hard things, it requires a lot of focus, training, preparation, and good support network. I would say I've had a lot of help along the way with not just my family, but also my friends and the people I'm up here with. Over.
Hi, I'm Ethan, and can you drink hot chocolate in space? Over.
Yes, we can. It's one of my favorite things to drink, especially when it feels a little cool up here. Over.
This is Sihath. How do you stay clean without a shower in space? Over.
So we don't have running water in space, and shower is one of the first things I want to do when I return to Earth. But we do clean ourselves, and the way we do that is we get a towel and we wet it with some water and we rub it around against our body. It's kind of like a scrub bath. Over.
Hello, this is Sophia. What training do you have to do to be an astronaut? Over.
You know, there's a lot of training, language training, flight training, learning how to use the spacesuit, learning the engineering. But I would say the most important thing to being an astronaut or just successful in life is just having a curiosity to learn. You're never too old to learn something new. And if you remember that, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Over.
NA1SS, NA1SS, this is GB4RSS. Johnny, thank you very much. That was absolutely fantastic, and thank you for all your efforts to get HAMTV operational for us. Everyone here wants to say a big thank you. So, you ready? 3, 2, 1.